All right, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. This is Taslim Rashid Ahmed, Chairman of Rose Landmark, BD and Rose Edupia. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys the basic concept of coordinate geometry. So first concept that I'm going to be teaching you is the length of a side. So if you were to find the length of this side AB, and if you had two coordinates, suppose the coordinates of A is x1, y1 and coordinates of B is x2 and y2, how would you find this? So normally you draw a right angle triangle, and we know in a right angle triangle, if this is C and this is A and this is B, according to the hypotenuse Pythagorean theorem, C square equals to A square plus B square. So basically we gotta find this square and this square, right? So what is this square? This is a straight line, so it's the difference in the x-axis, so it's basically x2 minus x1, this part. And what is the vertical part? This is the difference in the y-axis. Yeah, so this is basically y2 minus y1, this line. So this AB square would basically be x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So AB would be square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So basically this is the equation to find the length of any sides. Difference is x square, difference in x coordinates plus difference in y coordinates. Okay, this was the first equation that you need to know for your SAT. Now we need to suppose if you were to find the midpoint of a line. So suppose this is a line AB and this point O is the midpoint, and you know the coordinates of A, that is x1 and y1, and coordinates of B is x2 and y2. Now if you were to find the midpoint of this, which is O, this would always be, you gotta add up the x coordinates. AO is basically x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and you add the y coordinates, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So if you want to find the midpoint of a straight line, you got to add up the x coordinates of the two extreme points and divide that by 2, or you got to add up the y coordinates of the point and divide by 2. So basically AO or BO would be difference in at summation, half of the summation of x coordinates and half of the summation of y coordinates. This is midpoint of any point. Now I've explained earlier about slope, and I'm going to be making a separate video on slope, but for now, in any equation y equals to mx plus b, this m is the slope. What is a slope? Slope is basically the tan theta that it makes with the x-axis. And how can you find tan theta? This is opposite by adjacent, right? So this part is the opposite and this part is the adjacent, same thing, right? So slope is basically opposite by adjacent. So what is opposite? Opposite would be, suppose if this is x1 y1 and this is x2 y2, so this one is basically adjacent is basically x2 minus x1 and each opposite is basically y2 minus y1. So slope would basically be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So this is the equation to find the slope of a straight line. I'm going to be teaching in details about slope in another video, but for now just remember the slope is difference in y-axis divided by difference in x-axis. Okay, and the last one, there will be a separate video on slope that I'll be making tomorrow, so I'll go in details about many parts of slope, many concepts of slope that you need to know. But for now, there's one last equation. That is, if you have a curve and this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and you have a circle here. Okay, excuse my circle. I suppose this is the center and this is the radius, and the coordinates of the circle is h and k. Yeah, so the coordinates of the center of the circle, coordinates of the center is h and k. So h is the x coordinates and k is the y coordinates. So for this, the equation is x minus h square. So this is the equation of plus y minus k square equals to r square. So if I write it properly, so in order to find the radius r, you can find like this. Equation of the circle, equation of the circle would be x minus h square plus y minus k square equals to r square. Okay, this is basically the coordinates of the circle, where h and k is the coordinates of the center and r is the radius. I hope I was able to explain all these concepts. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.